What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I am Gold Pony, and today we are in the new 2020 BMW M8, courtesy of Apple BMW in York, PA. And so after quite an absence of the 8 Series from BMW, they have brought it back after, what, 20-ish years, essentially replacing the 6 Series. But although the number 8 is higher than the number 6, this 8 Series is actually a little bit smaller than the 6 Series. And of course, I'll get a little bit more into that in the video. So what do you say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so there are a few different setups you can go with for the BMW M8. First, you have the coupe starting at $133,000. Convertible, which of course is the one we are in today. This one is going to start at $142,500. And lastly, the Grand Coupe, which inevitably will be coming soon. So there is no pricing information, of course, on that one yet, but it is something you can look for in the future. So regardless of which setup that you go with, though, the power plant on the BMW M8 will be the same. Powering this beast will be a 4.4 liter twin power turbocharged V8 engine, putting out 600 horsepower without the competition package, 617 horsepower with the competition package. And by the way, that one goes for $13,000 as an added option if you wanted it. And I'll elaborate a little bit more as the video goes on about that one. 553 pound-feet of torque available from the power band of 1,800 to 5,600 RPM. 0 to 60, you guys get ready, 3.1 seconds. In the car we are currently in today, 3 seconds flat if you were to go with the competition package. And that power is going to be sent to all 4 wheels through BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive system through an 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters and launch control. We will be testing out the paddle shifters in a little bit here, giving you a top speed of up to 190 miles per hour. That is ridiculous. With MPG numbers, in case you were curious, at 15 in the city, 21 on the highway, of course, taking premium unleaded fuel. And so, but before we do any kind of acceleration in the M8, I did want to mention there are some driving modes as expected, including Comfort, Sport, and M Dynamic mode, adjusting things like the shift points, throttle response, steering sensitivity, and the all-wheel drive system engagement as well. And actually, let me elaborate a little bit more on that. Through those driving modes, it is actually possible where you can put the M8 in strictly rear-wheel drive mode, essentially giving you a drift mode in this thing, which is pretty darn cool if you ask me. We, of course, won't be testing that out because I don't feel like doing that in a $160,000 car. But what I do feel like doing right now is testing out the paddle shifters, so let's go ahead and downshift. 6th gear, 5th gear, 4th gear, 3rd gear. Ready, here we go. Yeah, they're instantaneous as expected. I don't want the wind noise to get too incredibly bad, but paddle shifters are ridiculous. Let's go ahead and take it out of that paddle shift mode now, and let's leave it up to the car to do a quick little acceleration for us here, and let's see how quickly this 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds can really feel. And here we go. Oh my God! Oh. Yes! Oh man, I haven't felt something like that in a long freaking time. That acceleration was ridiculous. But then to go along with that acceleration, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 15.5-inch ventilated front discs with 6 piston front calipers. And I did want to add on to that, there is an optional brake package adding 15.75-inch carbon ceramic brakes. By the way, that is an $8,150 option if you wanted to go that route. Did want to also mention something kind of unique for the BMW M8. It is a brake-by-wire system, but that's not the unique part. The unique part is there are brake driving modes, so to speak. There is a comfort and sport brake mode. And so the way that works is it essentially adjusts the amount of pressure needed to bring the M8 to a stop. So obviously with the sport brake mode, that is going to bring you to a stop a little quicker, having to press down that brake pedal a little bit less, bringing you to a quicker stop. So I found that kind of interesting. It's kind of like a first in my book, at least. I've never experienced a car with a brake driving mode before, so I think it's pretty cool, actually. And of course, as far as the braking feel goes, I've had absolutely no issues. Definitely brings you to an insanely quick stop in this thing. Touching on suspension and handling a little bit, you will get an adaptive M suspension with electronically controlled dampers, which essentially give you the best of both worlds. It not only soaks up Pennsylvania's road imperfections like it's doing today, but it also tightens up the suspension during heavy cornering. So really with adaptive suspension systems, it really doesn't get any better than that. Twin tube gas pressurized shock absorbers, of course, also an active M differential and M developed electronic power steering. As far as the steering feel goes, it is excellent, instantly points you in the direction that you want to go. Going back to the M suspension with ride quality, absolutely on point. Definitely I can see a pothole right here. It absolutely soaks up those road imperfections. So again, no issues there whatsoever. Touching on cabin noise in my convertible, I do have some exterior noises coming into the cabin. It is a convertible, obviously. And touching a little bit on visibility, of course, with the top down, I can see perfectly fine. I love the frameless rear view mirror as well. Definitely a nice little added touch there. And just to elaborate a little bit more with that visibility, there is also rain sensing windshield wipers that will come standard. So when the M8 detects that it's starting to drizzle or rain, it's gonna automatically turn on those windshield wipers. So it's kind of like automatic headlights. You never have to worry about that. Definitely a nice little safety feature as well there. Head-up display I am looking at right now, and actually it's one of the few head-up displays that I can see wearing sunglasses, so that's a definite plus as well. It's giving me the speed limit, what gear I'm in, my speed, as well as my RPMs at the very top, and I absolutely love that, especially for a car like the M8. That is kind of necessary information in this kind of car, but anywho, that is about it for the performance aspects of this review. Let's go ahead and check out the exterior of this beautiful 2020 BMW M8. All right, you guys, and so as I have mentioned earlier at the beginning of the video, the length, although the numbers are different, the length is actually shorter on the M8 comparatively speaking to the 6 Series. Length on this one is going to come in at 191.8 inches. The 6 Series actually comes in at 197.5 inches, so a little bit shorter on the 8 Series actually, which I guess is a plus side for performance, as I indicated, I'm sure, clearly in my acceleration on this one. But if you were curious, the color on this one is Dravit Gray Metallic. LED headlights you can find up front with BMW laser light technology, which is the brightest lighting allowed by law currently. LED daytime running lights, of course, also standard up front here. Black twin slats on the front grille with the M8 designation on the side there. Black accents actually throughout the exterior, just below the headlights there, as well as the front lip. So really all those black accents tied together quite nicely on this one. Also gives you a little bit more of a sporty appearance. But then make your way to the side. Signature M gills on that front fender definitely look good there. A little bit of chrome accenting. Once again, a little bit of black accents as well. Of course, the M logo found right in the middle of that. When it comes to the side mirrors, traditional BMW M side mirrors, you could put your hand in that little slot right there. I think that is so freaking cool. Nice little added aerodynamic design there. Power folding heated side mirrors, of course, will come standard with LED integrated turn signals as well. Backing up a little bit, let's take a look at the wheel setup. 20-inch M double 5-spoke wheels will come standard with performance run flat tires. So that is going to be the standard setup, at least on the new 2020 BMW M8. Did want to also mention, as far as the convertible goes, it is a black soft top. That is what is going to come with the convertible. And interestingly enough, of course, when I review a convertible, it starts raining mid-review, and I actually had to put the soft top up in the middle of me driving at very low speeds. I was only going like 5 miles per hour pulling up to a stop sign, but it actually did open and close very, very quickly. For reference, let me show you guys in real time how quickly that soft top opened and closed there. All right, so you guys can see it's pretty darn quick, but if you were to go with the coupe setup, that coupe setup is actually going to give you a carbon fiber roof. Traditionally, that is one thing that BMW M cars have done in the past, so that's definitely pretty cool there. Also wanted to mention, let me show you guys this real quick. Soft closed doors, so if you don't close it all the way, it will suck it in. Always found that pretty cool. And that's a luxury feature. Brands like BMW and Mercedes-Benz and higher end cars like that usually do that. I always find that pretty cool. But anywho, let's go ahead and make our way to the back on this one. There is a small rear deck lid spoiler that will come standard on the M8. Just below that, your rear brake light. And I love how the BMW logo here is kind of out a little bit, kind of makes more of a statement there, so that is pretty darn cool as well. Of course, M8 designation to let everybody know you are driving an insanely fast car. LED taillights will also come standard, and they kind of have a smoked housing to them. Kind of ties in very well with this exterior color that we have today, so I do love that. Black rear diffuser can be found just in between the exhaust outlets, and by the way, those exhaust outlets. Let's get to the exhaust clip here. Dual exhaust outlets with quad tips, finished in chrome, and there is an M sound control button located just around the shifter there, and that is going to give you that more pronounced exhaust note that you guys are all waiting for in this video. So let's just cut right to it. Here is that 2020 BMW M8 exhaust clip. Alright you guys, so now since we are around back, in order to open or close that trunk, there actually is a button on the key fob. That is simply one way you can do it. There is also a button in the back. You can also lift up under there. There's a little rubberized button for that. And there is a button on the driver's door as well. And all of these buttons, they are just simply press them one time. It is of course a power open and closing trunk, so there is no need to actually pull up on it or push down on it. It is a power open and closing trunk, so that is pretty nice. But once opened up, cargo capacity is going to come in at 14.8 cubic feet for the coupe, 12.4 cubic feet if you were to go with the convertible. And if you needed some additional space, these rear seats do fold down for quite a bit of extra space there if you needed it. But make your way now to the rear legroom, because believe it or not, although it is a two-door, this is a 2+2 seater. Rear legroom comes in at 29.5 inches. So I'm gonna give this a shot. So for reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. Really, those rear seats are better left for car seats perhaps, because they do have the latch anchor, so you can put a car seat back there. Small children, or perhaps just groceries and extra stuff you wanted to put back there. More of a cargo area really, but they are back there in case you wanted to use them. But making your way to the front seat, 16-way power adjustable M Sport seats will come standard, and that is going to come with 4-way power lumbar support and power side bolsters as well. So if you are one to do a little bit of heavy cornering, the side bolsters are definitely going to help keep you better in place. One of the coolest parts about these seats though is the backlit M logo integrated into the headrest, so they are going to illuminate at night. A nice little added touch there. Memory settings are going to come standard for up to 2 different drivers, and these seats are finished in a merino leather. They are pretty darn comfy. They are bolstered very well considering how fast this car is, so definitely like that. Heated and ventilated seats are also going to come standard of course as well. Then taking a look up front at the steering wheel, it is power tilt and telescoping. It is 3-spoke, some of the best 10-2 grips I've ever experienced. And this is pretty traditional with BMW cars overall. Their steering wheels are a little thicker gripped than most other manufacturers, which I do absolutely love, so well done BMW, don't change a thing there. M logo can be found at the bottom there. There is red and blue stitching on the steering wheel as well, since we do have the M8 today. And just a little extra feature, it does have an automatic power tilt up feature for ease of entry and exit, so that is pretty darn cool as well. And it is heated, but that pretty much is expected at this price point. But let's go ahead and get to the startup here. Let me first start by showing you guys the key. Everything is located on one side of the key. It is a nice heavier weight to it, so very high-end key there. Unlock, lock, and that button to pop the rear hatch. And by the way, the lock button is the BMW logo in the middle there, in case you were curious. But you do have a push button start, bright red push button start at that, located just to the left of the shifter. So all I'm going to do is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button there. And so, but then once started up, you will find a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. So a digital gauge setup, really giving you quite a bit of information. Speedometer is going to be on your left, along with a digital speedometer within that. Tachometer is going to be on your right, as well as the different drive modes that you have available, from everything to the steering feel, to suspension, to the acceleration or throttle response, I should say. And there is actually a speed limit indicator in the lower left-hand corner that I've definitely found quite handy through my test drive today, and it will tell you how many miles you have left until you hit empty as well. But let me make our way to overall interior quality. Of course, this is BMW. It has a ton of interior quality. Heated center armrest is the first thing I wanted to mention. Yes, you usually have heated seats and a heated steering wheel, but a heated center armrest is pretty darn cool if you ask me. Nappa leather and carbon fiber finishes throughout, and those Nappa leather finishes are found all over the doors, glove box, just above the glove box, shocks. It's essentially absolutely everywhere. There are very few plastics in this BMW M8. And of course the carbon fiber finish located just around the shifter, that is definitely a big plus in my book as well. Alcantara headliner if you were to go with the coupe at least. There is also going to be LED carpet lighting, ambient lighting throughout, including on the doors. I have a nice blue hue right now. That is definitely very nice. And there is going to be a wireless phone charger that comes standard, universal garage door openers for up to 3 different garage doors found just underneath the rear view mirror there, LED interior lighting of course, and getting very specific, there is an aluminum glove box handle to actually open up that glove box. Usually that is kind of tied in with the color of the glove box. A lot of manufacturers will put it as plastic. I'd have to say the majority of them do, but I love the aluminum handle there. And of course these speaker covers are aluminum as well, and I'll get more into the sound system in a little bit because we do have the optional Bowers and Wilkins sound system, so I will be testing that out in a little bit here. More aluminum trim around the air vents just underneath the tech display. Looking in front of the shifter, you do have that wireless phone charger right there, 2 cup holders, USB charging port, 12-volt power outlet. The shifter itself does have an indentation of an M logo on the top as well as the M color surrounding it. You also have an electronic parking brake, and just within that center armrest there is a phone charger, 12-volt power outlet, and a rubberized cubby area so things don't slide around as much. So all of this of course is super high-end and super nice, so absolutely no complaints from me when it comes to overall interior quality. But now let's make our way to the front tech display. 10.25 inch color touchscreen display will come standard on the 2020 M8. Bluetooth and audio streaming will come standard, as well as an Apple CarPlay 1-year trial. No Android Auto unfortunately, still that's a BMW thing as of now at least. Factory navigation system will come standard though. And by the way, the other way to control what is up on that screen, there is a circular dial and buttons just to the right of the shifter, so there are actually 2 ways you can control what is on there. So while you're driving, I found it's a little bit easier to use the circular dial and buttons just to the right of the shifter because it is a little bit more of a reach if you were to use the touchscreen display. So I did want to mention that. You of course can check out your radio settings up on that screen as well. And by the way, when it comes to the sound system, 16 speaker Harman Kardon surround sound system will come with the coupe, 12 speaker Harman Kardon surround sound system with the convertible. However, as I have mentioned, there is an extra option we have today, being the Bowers and Wilkins surround sound system, and still, as I've said in my previous videos, my favorite sound system to date. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio here, see what we got playing this morning, and once again, let's test out the clarity of this Bowers and Wilkins sound system that we have today. Really does feel like you're at a concert, I swear. It comes at you from all directions. Bass is plentiful, clarity is absolutely on point. It feels like you are live at a concert. It's absolutely amazing. But so last thing I wanted to mention to you guys is when you do put the M8 in reverse, you will find a rear view camera with multiple angles. It is a 360-degree camera, by the way, as well. So you can really see every direction that is around you, and there's actually a touchscreen that can enable you to see a couple different views as well, including to the left of the vehicle, to the right of the vehicle, and it actually does give you a digital rendering of the M8 up on that screen as well, so that is pretty darn cool. So definitely multiple angles there, and there's actually a camera button just to the left of the shifter, so even if you weren't in reverse, you can still use that camera button, so that's pretty handy too if you're driving through a tight parking lot or something like that. But anywho, that, as always, is going to lead us into safety. And so to start, you will find front and side impact airbags in the back. Of course, like I said, you're gonna have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children, for those rear car seats. Also standard seat belt automatic pretensioners, but also standard frontal collision warning, automatic city collision mitigation and braking, daytime pedestrian detection, and auto dimming rear view mirror, and actually an auto dimming driver's side exterior mirror as well. That's definitely a plus. Adaptive cruise control will also come standard, and there's actually various safety packages, several of them, adding things like a blind spot monitoring system, rear cross traffic alert, and also night vision, illuminating things like deer and people at night before you actually see them in real life. It's pretty cool. But anyhow, that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen there if you like. Be sure to hit the subscribe and bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay gold.